Hey friends, I've been feeling kind of frustrated lately because I haven't published an essay in a while or anything really, right? Like, so I think I have this note in my Google Keep from like 2014 or 2015 where it says, when I publish, I'm happy. When I don't publish, I'm not happy. And I'm like, that's so simple, and yet there's a truth to it for me. And if I have been producing stuff, I feel good. And like whenever I ship something, I feel great. And, like it was biggest after I shipped my book, right? Because that's a big thing. And after every decent essay, I feel good. But it doesn't work in a way that I'm like, oh, I can just publish nonsense and I'll feel good. And again, so there's all kinds of details to get into, right? So what does publish mean? Because there's gradients to this stuff, and when I say this out loud, I realize I'm a bit harsh on myself, I guess, or I that's not the right phrase. There's complexity. No, that's not the right angle either. Where am I going with this? There's levels of nuance, and there's a gradient of complexity. There's a gradient of doneness. There's a gradient, right? There's a gradient of challenge or like effort, reward, and so it's not really a gradient. It's like a graph. There's many different possible effort to reward outcomes, right? So I guess you can plot effort and reward, or like difficulty and reward. And some things are very difficult and not rewarding. Some things are not that difficult but very rewarding. And theoretically, right, you should optimize. You would think that a hedonistic human being would optimize for what is rewarding, but that doesn't actually seem. But that seems to be like a first order graph. And I don't seem to live my life in a way that optimizes for what is most rewarding. Which when you think about it, it seems bonkers, right? And I think it's one of those things where, like thinking about my posture makes me sit up, right? Thinking about my reward effort ratios makes me realize, oh, that's a rewarding thing I haven't done. I should do that, which is fine, right? So the first thing to think about there is, oh well, I should be thinking about it would be wise to think about my reward effort ratio more often. True, probably. But what I'm interested in is, why do I not or why is that not already the natural order of things? Why is it that I seem to default to patterns of behavior? I guess there isn't really the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis would be that there isn't even a reason, that it's just sort of the trained default. Although even then, the trained default is like, why is that the default that you've trained? Habit. Why is that your habit? How did that habit begin? There's this groove in behavior. And I'm just trying to understand myself, right? Somebody said a really lovely thing about one of my videos. I have this video titled Revenge Bedtime Procrastination. And he tweeted it at me with, thanks for this video. It helped unblock a level of understanding of myself. And I was like, oh, I would not have the guts to describe my work in that way publicly, but it's true. Not even publicly, right? Even privately, like with my friends, right? I don't feel comfortable saying, what do? I unblock people's understandings of themselves. I unblock levels of... I help people understand themselves better, right? Or I help people misunderstand themselves less. Those are things that I'm good at doing. And I'm better at doing it for other people than I'm doing it for myself. And there's a reason for that I'm coming to terms with, that has nothing to do with your skill level as an individual, but it has to do with the nature of perception and being a person. Like, there are ways, which is why therapists see other therapists, right? It's not that they're bad therapists, that they can't do it for themselves. It's just that even a worse therapist than yourself can do a better job for you than you can do for yourself in some ways, right? Because they can see things that you can't see. They can hold things for you while you're figuring stuff out, like space. And yeah. Anyway, effort reward ratios. It's strange to me that I don't do things that are rewarding. That I seem to So yeah, I said earlier that's the first order thing, right? The difficulty to reward, effort to reward ratios. So some things are very rewarding, don't require much effort. Some things require a lot of effort, not very rewarding. I think that there is a meta graph or like a level 2 graph, which is how do I feel about the graph, right? And wanting to put in effort to change the graph, which hypothetically might be, and so we really got to define our terms, because even the term rewarding is vague, right? And like, what do we mean by rewarding? There's like pleasurable, there's meaningful, and what is pleasurable is not necessarily what is meaningful. What is meaningful is not necessarily what is pleasurable in a physical, immediate, felt sense. But it gives you a what is meaning? What is a meaningful life experienced as, if not some kind of like rarefied physical pleasure, right? Like with the feeling of satisfaction, the feeling of warmth and affinity and a sense of gratitude and a sense of kinship. These are all feelings, right? I don't want to be like completely like chemical reductionist, like, oh, everything is just a feeling in your body, in your brain. As in, I don't think our tools for intervention and like creating feelings within the self through chemical intervention, right, or even behavioral intervention. So that's where things get tricky, because I'm thinking about behavior modification, right? Like I'm thinking about how should I modify my behavior, or how should I modify my behavior? Am I happy the way I am? Happy, what's happy, right? But am I satisfied? Do I like the way I am? No, I think I don't think I'm currently proud of myself for the current configuration that I had. I've had better days, weeks, months. I did just recover from COVID like 2 weeks ago, but like these have not been a great series of months for me, or they don't feel like it. It could be that in retrospect I'll describe this as like creative downtime, like it's necessary to kind of sit around and be useless before you can do great creative work. I think there's a truth to that. I would like post-publishing or like high creative visa to co-sign that, because when I'm saying that now, it can kind of feel like I'm making excuses. No, I don't know. We'll see. I do know from my long decades of creative endeavor that I do have ups and downs in my process. So this feels like a down. I feel like I'll get back up, and when I'll get back, I guess here's a note to myself from down to up, to reaffirm what I think I know. Behavior modification, habits, patterns. I was thinking, a part of me was thinking that it almost feels like cheating, right? So chemicals feel like cheating in some way. What does cheating mean, right? That's another question, right? It's like in the games people play, right? We make up the rules ourselves, so we get to decide what cheating is and it's not. And it is, I think, important to feel like you're not cheating at the game that you're choosing to be playing, right? And a part of me is like, oh, if you exercise to feel better, that's just cheating. Like I see the humor in it, it's because whatever your default choices are, it's still a choice. It doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like you're doing what you're always doing, but it's a choice. It's easier to choose because it's familiar. But not exercising is also cheating the way exercising is cheating when it comes to influencing your mood. Because you're influencing your mood no matter what, and cheating is a function of like your expectations, and you get to renegotiate your expectations. I think I'll end on that. Yeah.